Our living room wall has been looking quite bare since we moved into the house. After staring at it while drinking a beer or two, we brainstormed the idea of creating a picture collage using black photo frames of different sizes, like the ones you see all over Pinterest. I'm no artist, but I'm happy with the layout we've come up with, which is a randomish pattern of pictures surrounding a large center frame. This video is focused more on how I achieve the even spacing of the frames, and fair warning, it contains gratuitous use of a spreadsheet and the use of CAD software. By the way, if you're here for more shed content, don't worry, there's more of that coming soon. Shops like the Meatball place and other department stores have black frames that aren't too expensive, so we picked up a bunch of them in different shapes and sizes, deciding on the spot that the layout should have one big frame in the center and be surrounded by smaller frames in varying orientations. I measured the frames up and created a 3D model of the layout in Fusion 360, because that's what I do. The big frame was the anchor point in the center, and I put the other frames around it somewhat randomly, but also with some sort of order, until I thought it looked about right. Making a sketch in CAD isn't necessary for making the picture collage, but it does help to visualize what you want, and also can be used to check your sums in the spreadsheet. I then extruded the frames and gave it all some color, and wondered what I was going to put in them. Neither Jade or myself are particularly artistic, so I had to do a little research on how to create a coherent picture collage that would complement our living space. We have dark blue cabinets with gold highlights, so I started by searching for art that had those two colours. There is a lot of that available. Who'd have thunk it, right? So I narrowed it down to having the main picture be of our home city of Brisbane. A quick search brought forward another problem I wasn't expecting. This picture had the colours I wanted, but when I looked closer, it just wasn't Brisbane. It's obviously AI generated, and it seems that this stuff is all over the web, which made it hard to find legitimate artwork of our city. After some more careful searching, Jade and I finally found this vintage tourism poster. It has a nice splash of yellow to go with the colour scheme, and features the old windmill observatory on Wickham Terrace and the William Jolly Bridge in the background. To get a feel for how it would look on the wall, I took a screenshot of the artwork and inserted it virtually into the CAD model. Other pieces were these art prints, including a photo of the Lockyer Creek rail bridge that is to the west of Brisbane. The remaining frames will be filled with pictures of our family and some of my favourite photos I took when I was living and travelling in Europe. Now that we've gathered all our frames and artwork, we can work out where to put our picture hooks on the wall to make the pattern we've worked out. I've gone through the CAD software and given everything precise dimensions so we can compare our spreadsheet progress with the model. I needed to trim the matting in the frame so that the artwork I've chosen will fit nicely. Odds are you'll need to do this too, so I've made a section in the spreadsheet to easily calculate the cutout area. So let's do that first. You'll need to measure both your artwork and the matting and decide on an appropriate border width. I settled on 35mm all round for this one, as it would be wide enough to clear the existing cutout while leaving enough material to make a clean cut. Armed with that information, we can then go to the spreadsheet and enter those values. It can be accessed from the link in the description. FYI, the cells highlighted in orange will need your input, and the grey cells will give you the information you need. The cells we need now are here. We need the outer dimensions of the matting, the picture dimensions, and the border width. That will give us the distances we need to come in around the edge of the matting. I've used Fusion 360 to model the main frame, which can be used to verify these numbers. We can then go ahead and transfer them to the cardboard. And cut them out. We can put the frame back together, making sure the gap is even around the picture. I had to buy a piece of A1 size cardboard to fill in the gap between the picture and the matting, which came with all the edges crumpled, but luckily the matting hides all of that. And it came out alright. Now we can prepare to put some pictures on the wall. To be able to position them properly, we need to know the height and width of the wall. I used this laser measurer, which makes things a lot easier, but a measuring tape will do the same trick. We can then put the numbers in the spreadsheet along with the main picture frame size. The nominated height was found by one of us holding the frame on the wall and the other standing back to see what looked best. These border values correspond to the border around the main frame and the gap between the satellite frames. I wanted them to be different, but there's no reason why they can't be the same. We also need the offsets of the mounting points on the frame from the top and from each side. Now we have our two mounting positions on the wall from the left hand side. Marking the wall is a lot easier with a helper. The ones I had were either too small or otherwise occupied. At a glance, the marks on the wall looked about right, so I stuck in a couple of screws. I chose to use screws to mount the frames since I had plenty around, and they work just as well as picture hooks. Nice. On to the next frame. We need the outer dimensions of the frame and the mounting point offset. And there we have our mounting coordinates, which we can verify in the CAD model. 0.5 millimeter won't hurt, so let's put it up. Quick tip, a steel ruler works great for opening and closing these metal tabs that hold in the back of the picture frame. Let's mark the wall now. You can hold the frame up to the marks made on the wall and check for any glaring mistakes. And drive in a screw if it looks good. For the third frame, I moved to the other side of the main picture. I don't recall why, but we can check the spreadsheet results with the CAD model. This picture needed trimming, so I measured both the frame and the picture and cut the top and bottom to fit. I cut slightly more off the bottom to keep more detail at the top of the picture. After looking at the finished collage on the wall, I think this one looks out of place, so it will be replaced sometime soon. Now that we're on the fourth frame, I can show what the spreadsheet is doing with the numbers. To calculate the mounting length, we start at the center of the wall where the center of the main frame sits. It adds half the width of the frame and then the width of the main border. This gets us to the distance to the edge of the frame we're working on. Then it's a matter of working out where the mounting point of the frame is, in this case the center of the frame, and adding it to the previous result. Pretty straightforward. And if we move on to the height calculation, we can see that it starts with the nominated height of the center frame, subtracts the height of the frame above it, and the height of the secondary border, and lastly the frame's mount offset from the top. Once again, we can verify that it looks right in the CAD model and transfer them to the wall. At this stage I still hadn't received our photos that we sent away for the collage, but there was nothing stopping me from mounting the frames. The fifth frame required that I mount a rectangular photo in a square frame, so I had to make a black background square from a sheet of cardboard that I found at the shop for 60 cents. I just used the square backing paper that was in the frame as a template, cut it out, and mounted the photo to the cardboard with some double-sided tape. Emmett helped me mark it out, and I swapped the places of this frame with frame 2 since I'd put in the wrong picture. So I continued marking and hanging the frames using the spreadsheet that I'd made. And I was happy with the layout when I saw it for the first time in real life. Our photos arrived a few days later and they looked pretty good. So I put them straight up, zooming through them at the speed of light, putting them in their designated frames, and making a few new pieces of matting where necessary. My little man was impressed and approved of the finished product. Even Jade likes it, and I hope you like it too. I hope this video has helped you out if you're looking to do something similar. The spreadsheet will probably not be exactly what you're after, but it can be modified pretty easily to suit the needs of many. If you have Fusion, I've also made the CAD files available through the same link as the spreadsheet. Thanks for watching to the end, I really appreciate it. If you liked the cut of my jib and reckon I deserve a beer for my troubles, check out my PayPal link in the description to make a one-off donation. Also, if you're in the market for some reasonably priced gear for photography and videography, click my affiliate link with Newer and check out their wares. Cheers.